As we mentioned earlier, Canada won its first medal of the Winter Games today, but with victory can also come heartbreak, and not to mention a lot of pressure. Summer Christie works in performance psychology and has represented Canada at 2 Rugby World Cups. Thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
So going into the Olympics, it's the culmination of years of work. What kind of emotions are these athletes going through?
Well, let's just say they're probably going through a range of emotions from good to bad to excited to fearful. Yes, it's 4 years in the making, and this is one moment, so it does make it more important. But hopefully, they're also kind of taking it in, feeling the experience, getting really happy. And yes, there's going to be some nerves, there's going to be a little bit of fear, but at the same time, they should have a plan and know what they're doing to bring it down to the moment when they need to focus. So.
Obviously, they've done a lot of mental training, but with that kind of pressure and a lot of expectation, can it be difficult to focus in the moment?
It absolutely can. And the unique thing about the Olympics is that it's it's something you can't necessarily prepare for. So we practice, we do simulation training. So we put athletes under pressure. We try and mimic the environment. We try and throw in, let's say, fans, sounds, music. The bus runs late. We do things on purpose to get them to practice, to be able to focus through distractions. But it's unique because the Olympics is just bigger than they've ever experienced before, with all the countries, with all the wow, with all the media, everything else around it. It does make it harder. So they do everything they can to be able to focus on that moment.
I mean, obviously they're looking for the moment of joy, but when an athlete doesn't perform the way they want to and the world is watching, how can you overcome that?
Yeah, I'm sure you've responded and you've heard that in the moments right after, some athletes even apologizing to their country. I mean, you go through those range of emotions and it's pretty devastating, but at the same time, there's nothing that changes that. Sometimes they did the best they possibly could and they still lost, and that's okay. You've got to reflect on, what was realistic, what we were able to do. And sure, it's hard, but you're still a worthwhile person and people from your country still love you. So even though it is pretty hard in the moment, they can get past it.
And to that end, I mean, the process of bouncing back when you flub the big moment or you don't perform the way you want to, how does that process go to kind of overcome that in the long term as well and go home and live your life again sometimes?
Yeah, well, a unique thing about the Olympics is, and this isn't even just for if you've underperformed, but they call it the post-Olympic blues. So that's a moment in time after something you've worked so hard for and so long for in your life that when it's over, athletes can go different mental health challenges and even depression, and they again called the post-Olympic blues. So because everything you work for is just over. And that could be linked to a loss or underperforming, but again, it's over. So to be able to come out from that is to give yourself a little space to feel the feels, go through the emotion that you're going to have. Hopefully the athletes have support, whether it's a mental performance consultant or if they need extra clinical support from a clinical psychologist, that they have that support and they're able to come and bounce back.
Yeah, it's impossible to be dialed in 24/7 and in an environment as intense as the Olympics. How do the athletes balance the drive to perform with their mental health and well-being?
Well, this is something that we like to talk about and really prepare for. So it's going to be a moment of extra stress. You're going to be under more pressure than you would normally. So the best you can do is prepare and have some strategies for self-care when you're at the games. So know that it's going to be extra stressful, but when am I going to take those breaks? How am I going to manage myself, my well-being, take care of myself throughout the games? There's even environments that they can go to get away, a little mind room, if you'd call it that. I believe the IOC puts one for it as well as COC. So spaces, and making sure they're still connected with family and friends and people they need in their support network throughout as well. And of course, if they need support from whether it's a mental performance consultant or a clinical psychologist, they have a lot of supports around them. But again, it's knowing that you're going to be a bit vulnerable and making a plan and using the resources.
Well, I mean, just getting there is such an accomplishment. Summer, thank you so much for joining us today, taking time to share your expertise with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.